David McAllister is a member of the European Parliament and he chairs its oversight committee for the Brexit talks. Mr. McAllister, good to have you with us. Another deadline has passed. When do you think the negotiations are going to be completed?
Good afternoon from Brussels. Well, yes, indeed. In 10 days, the United Kingdom will leave the single market and the customs union, and still both sides haven't been able to find an agreement. And we in Brussels, like in many other places, are closely following the ongoing negotiations. And I do hope that we will have clarity in the next days, because we simply really have to prepare either for a no-deal scenario or there will be an agreement. In the moment, it's still very difficult to predict.
Why, after years of talking, is it still going down to the wire and it's taking so long to get to where we are now, and still we're not seeing a clear outcome?
Both sides have made enormous progress in the negotiations. On many, many fields, we now have found results, and the texts are as drafts ready. However, nothing is agreed until everything is agreed, and especially on the level playing field and fisheries, divergences still remain, and these gaps need to be bridged. I mean, we are now at a stage where principles have to be translated into rules, and more importantly, rules need to be guaranteed by a robust governance framework. So we're in the very last mile of these negotiations, and I still hope that we can avoid a no-deal scenario, because a no-deal would have severe consequences for both sides, but especially for the United Kingdom. Nobody in London should underestimate the consequences of a no-deal.
What about the criticism from London that it's up to the EU to move on its red lines? You yourself said that every step should be taken to avoid disruptions for EU citizens. Couldn't a compromise be one of them?
Negotiations are always about finding compromises, and the European Union has started these negotiations. We're being open-minded, and we were ready to strike a deal. We want to have the most ambitious partnership we have ever concluded with a third country. We respect red lines drawn by the UK government, but on the other hand, the UK needs to know that we also have firm principles in the European Union, especially to protect the integrity of our single market and to make sure that there is fair competition for businesses on both sides of the channel. We are offering the British side something we have never offered a third party before: quota-free, tariff-free access to the world's largest single market. But this comes under certain conditions, and the condition is that we have a level playing field as regards standards, which will then coin the competition on both sides of the channel. So we're doing this to protect the interests of our businesses and, of course, our citizens.
Apart from deal or no deal, is there any other possible outcome to the talks? We've seen plenty of deadlines go by. Could the talks possibly be delayed to next year?
The European Parliament was ready to grant our consent to a possible agreement in a normal, quote-unquote, procedure, but our deadline as European Parliament expired on Sunday night. So we simply don't have time now to ratify the agreement in a normal procedure. And now we're looking at the different options which still remain. One option could be that the transition period is extended. However, this would require a political will on both sides of the channel, and the UK government has been absolutely clear that under no circumstances they are interested in extending the transition period. So we will now have to find a solution in case a deal is struck between now and the 31st of December, how we can then make sure that the European Parliament will have sufficient time to scrutinise the agreement after the 1st of January. Provisional application could be an option, but in the moment we're not discussing the details of a provisional application or other options, since we still don't know whether there will be a deal or not.
Right, crunch time in Brussels. David McAllister, member of the European Parliament and the chair of its Brexit Talks Oversight Group. Thank you very much.